All right. So we have been going pretty well through the fruits of the Spirit so far. We've gotten through 4 of them. What are they? Yes. Do you have any idea what the last one could be that we're doing? Not the last one, but the next one? Kindness is it. Um, so, like I said, we're moving on in kindness. I've been enjoying just going by order, and I could switch at any time. I just keep liking the next one. So, I guess it'll end up being the one I like the least or the hardest one to talk about will be the ending, probably, unless we just go in order. But so this is one of the fruits that a lot of people do not have nowadays. There is not much kindness going around right now. Can anyone tell me, what's your opinion? Why is there not much kindness going on? I mean, sure, I'll take it. What else we got? Everyone gets offended easily. That's true. Judgy, trauma, things that are making people unkind.
Well, these are fruits of the Spirit, and if there's no Spirit, then where's the fruit?
That's true. No God. I mean, is Dad said Sunday if he was here, he's talking about people want to go against God right now, and kindness is one of his fruits. People want to go against that as well. They're unhappy. Most of the time, maybe this is just my opinion, maybe you'll disagree, but if you see not random people, but maybe celebrities or people who don't know God doing kind works, they're sometimes just doing it for their own good, doing it to get the positive attention. We've all seen the person that you know is not that good of a person do something kind for someone when they want something. It's like, oh, okay. That's a thing. I don't know why don't you act like that all the time. And we think kindness, in my opinion, would be an easy one. I mean, it's not that hard to be kind, but it can be pretty tough. Let me ask you, who wants to volunteer for a question? It's just an easy question. There is no wrong answer. All right. Zephyr, what is your just gut reaction to how are you going to handle a situation when you order food and they bring out your food and it's incorrect order at a restaurant?
Usually I just ignore it because I'm like, well, they probably got a lot of
It's good
food.
anyway. It's food.
I'm like,
I'm starving.
in my mind, it's like, pretty much, it's like, for me, it helps that I was raised a certain way where I am not allowed to be picky. So like, even like, if it's wrong, I'm like, that's fine. They probably have a lot going on right now.
Okay.
Low staff. Doesn't matter to me.
So you got a good reaction to it. It's still frozen.
How do you get a
Right,
frozen
like first world,
burger?
it takes a lot to upset me.
My fast food was cold.
All right. Who else wants a random? I'll pick on Hannah. Hannah, I'm going to throw you in a random situation. Hannah, what's your gut reaction of how you're going to... Julie, you're on the bright side tonight. What's your gut reaction of what do you do if, let's say, you accidentally cut someone off in traffic and they flip you off and honk their horn? You cry.
I would just keep
My
driving
dad
until
blows
something
them a kiss if he gets flipped off by somebody.
I love that. I'm gonna use that. I love that so much.
I might be in Hannah's boat. I'm the person that's like, oh, sorry. Sorry. And then I accelerate quickly.
No, I sometimes slow down. It's happened to me.
No.
If it was me, I'd just keep going until I'm stuck it up.
Yeah, I just yelled at them from my car.
What are they gonna do?
All right. But I ask you, when you yell at them from your car or slow down to irritate them more, are you being kind?
Very much.
They
So.
probably just
What? Oh.
I don't know, same reason.
Well, here's the real question.
Okay, so So Shelby said they probably deserve it. Even if they deserve it, is that the kind thing to do? Is that the right thing to do? Is that the Jesus thing to do?
No.
No. All right.
Makes me happy.
Jesus might cry.
What if
Okay, no, Jesus would be like, I'll pray for you.
what's our
Pray against it. He did pray a lot.
what's the gut reaction when someone you know that maybe you work with them or maybe it's a family member, but gut reaction if they mouth off to you and disrespect you?
That's where I cry. That's where I cry.
This is where is it my boss or is it just one of my coworkers?
So, at Sonic, I asked one of my coworkers if he could do the dishes, and he says, why can't you do it? And in my head, I was saying, because I asked you, it's your job, but I didn't say anything. I just said, you know what, do this to it.
What if it is you?
What if it's your boss? Like, is it your boss or your coworker?
Doesn't matter.
If it's my boss, I ain't saying nothing. If it's a coworker, then I'm not gonna do that.
You're not gonna
Yeah, I just deal with it.
just deal with it?
It makes me cry. It's not enough.
If someone mouths off at you,
My kids are mean.
kids have nothing to do with it.
I am the boss, but they still make me cry.
All right. So if people are mouth off to us, I am hearing that we don't like that very much. And normally, you don't want to be very kind. So as humans, is it our gut reaction to turn someone being mean to you into kindness back at them? Like, is it nice, or is it easy as a human to reflect kindness when people are being mean?
Depends if I was involved. That's the reason I mentioned. What is wrong?
Julie can actually get so mad that she cries.
I cry when I'm mad too.
Crying is my coping mechanism.
What is wrong with women? All I do is cry.
Okay, so listen up to me for a minute. Yes.
I've developed this thing where if people act really, really awfully toward me, I'll just be extremely nice to them. Because it really messes with you mentally.
I
Yeah, that's what
Hey,
the
I'll just
Bible
ask
says.
you.
that's true.
Yeah.
Kill them with kindness.
My thing, more than likely, if someone gets on my nerves, I'm just gonna get pretty quiet. I'm just not gonna have a reaction. That's my gut reaction.
I do it.
So as people, it's not easy to be nice to those who are mean to you. But yet kindness is one of the fruits of the Spirit. It's in the top 5. I mean, it's right there. I don't think any of the list matters really, except for I don't think it's coincidence that love is the number one. But other than that, I think they're all very important. But we can look at those situations. Those are just 3 simple situations that could happen to any of us. I randomly cut people off in traffic on accident, or I get mouthed off to by someone, or you don't know how great it feels as a Taekwondo instructor when one of your students mouths off to you, and you just kind of want to kick them in the face, but you can't. But we go through these situations daily, and like I said, as Christians, it's our goal to be Christ-like. Is any of us actually going to nail being Christ-like? No. Jesus was perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. But these situations make it very hard for us to be kind when other people are not being kind to us. And we already know that these fruits we've talked about on each one, they come straight from Jesus himself. Jesus was pretty much kindness. I mean, anything he did anything from miracles to random acts of kindness that were still ended up being miracles. He helped in a bunch of different situations. And each one of us here should probably be able to think of random situations where you could probably have been a little kinder, maybe even lately, or just in your life, think of situations like, I I could have done that a little different, been a little kinder there, and it probably would have helped out. I can think of situations like that. But what would you guys say is one of the biggest things where we can be kinder as people? Just give me some thoughts where you can be kinder as a person. Arguments? So would we put that in words? Would you say words for arguments?
I feel like when people don't disagree in an argument, or they tend to raise their voice or get aggressive and mad about it instead of just approaching it. I don't know.
Kindness?
Yeah, we're calm, not like
Mature?
yeah.
I got you.
I think communication.
Communication.
Is definitely a huge part of it. Like, we got into it the other day.
Was it about
And-
superheroes?
No.
Oh.
I have a thing I do where I completely suppress anything that's like upsetting me at all. And then I just, yeah, and I still feel really bad about that. So yeah, clearer communication.
Okay. So far we've gotten both of these end up being in a whole package of words. Tone of voice. So words is kind of the initial reaction. Words is my initial reaction. First one I have wrote down here for what we can be kinder on is words. I'll talk about it first. I do have other situations though. But words, like I said, it's a huge one. Like we had 3 different answers, all related back to words. And our words are often the very first thing we go to when it comes to being in a bad situation. I mean, our mouth moves a little faster than our brain sometimes. Sometimes I say something and then I'm like, I'm an idiot. Why did I say that? Or has anyone ever said something and then you're like, oh crud, I hope they didn't take that like I meant it.
Anytime I'm joking with somebody. Or whenever I'm being mean and then try to play it off like a joke.
Right there. He's really good at it.
So we use our words so quickly. I mean, the Bible talks about words a lot. The Bible normally talks about words, and it talks about the tongue. The tongue is how we make our words. If we have no tongue, we have no words, obviously. But it talks about in the Bible that the tongue is a very small part of our body, but it controls a whole bunch of us. Has anyone met someone, or maybe it's you, that just can't control their tongue? They can't hold it in, and it's like, oh, what is this person going to say now? Or does anyone know those people that maybe you're kind of friends with them, you're nice to them, but you wouldn't call them close friends, but they just go off and say the most like embarrassing or dumb or maybe mean things, and then you get them around your real friends and you're like, oh crud, what are they going to say? Does anyone know people like that? Because I do. You are. It's like, they're gonna say something and my friends are gonna think they're weird.
People and I say something funny, but they take it in a completely wrong direction.
I have a very strict.
Yeah, I know, it's so annoying.
But our tongue, the Bible says, it compares it to 2 different things. It compares it to a horse. If anyone has ever ridden a horse, you put a bit in its mouth, right? And that's how you steer the whole animal. I mean, that's a teeny tiny piece of metal, but you put it in its mouth and you control the whole thing. Our mouth sometimes tends to control our whole self. I mean, everyone knows that if you get started using your mouth and you don't get that under control, maybe you're in a mad situation, you get madder and madder until you do something else. I mean, if you've ever seen any situation get out of hand, it normally starts with talking, that turns into yelling, that turns into whatever, maybe a street fight.
Wow.
I was crying. I don't have any. Did you say that's your ultimate move? Ultimate move, crying.
I love it.
At my maddest, I am crying so hard, and it's because it's illegal to murder you, and what else am I supposed to do?
At my maddest, I get like 10 times stronger than I already am, and I can move literally anything. It's hilarious.
I can instant that.
Yeah.
Okay, so another part that it compares our mouth to, or our tongue, is a boat with a rudder. Rudders are very small on boats, but all they have to do is turn that rudder, and it turns the whole boat. Once again, very small thing that controls the rest of us. How much easier would it be to just control the whole situation on being kind if we can control our tongue on being kind?
What if you just didn't use it?
That's what I do, but that doesn't fix anything.
Why not?
It'd be easier, right? You can defuse so many situations with just your tongue.
What about
Yes.
a whiteboard?
I have a psychology lesson, very short. So I found out that if you are being yelled at by someone and like they just won't stop, like don't completely shut up because it'll make it worse, but just keep talking in your normal tone, and they'll back down. Don't try to talk over them. They'll back down. Another psychology trick. They'll feel super bad about it.
The
The verse about that a soft dancer takes away wrath.
yeah, yes. A soft answer turns away wrath. Yeah. So you can diffuse a lot of situations with just being kinder with your tongue. Let's say we learn how to use our tongue in a kind way. I want some answers here. How could this affect you in your life currently?
Negotiating is way easier.
Negotiating is way easier. Okay.
Get better deals.
Jesse's going to use his kindness to further his pocketbook.
You might feel like less stressed, like less tense, you know, like tense stuff really good.
I would say it could help your stress.
If it ain't helping your stress, it's gonna help everybody around you. Stress levels.
That's true.
People will like you better.
People will like you better. I guarantee you that one. People don't really like it when people go around hateful or mean all the time. Or at least I don't. I don't prefer hanging out with those people.
I can't even think of anybody who just truly does that.
I've known hateful people.
I mean, unless you're kind of broke.
Yeah, ask Colby. I ain't hateful people.
I am hateful people.
That's sense right there.
I like right now, I'm pretty much hateful.
I like your honesty.
I like how Haley's not defending you. She's just like,
I need Cole to come here like, yeah.
I'm glad you like us and you're not being hateful to us. Okay. So let's say you can control this. Is this going to affect us in a negative or positive way? If you can control it.
Definitely negative.
Positive. I mean, there's no way you're going to sit here and be like, man, if I'm nicer, my life's just going to be terrible.
How?
If people run over you.
Yeah, what if you just don't let them
Right,
get to you?
but I think being kind is different than letting people like blow over you. Yeah, kind
There's a difference there.
You can be kind, but firm.
Yeah. I mean,
How do you mean?
Self-control, that's where it ties it all in.
I need to practice with that because I normally just give up because I don't like conflict.
I mean, you can,
We all got work to do.
you can definitely be kind without just getting ran over. I would consider myself kind, I guess. And I would
Person I've ever met.
and I would consider myself not to get ran over. But so we can agree for the most part that it's going to make your life a little easier. What other situations can you be kinder in? We talked about our tongue. Anyone know anything else? That's actually what I have wrote down perfectly.
See my fist.
My fists can be kinder.
I don't
No.
actually ever.
Your actions. Okay, so this is kind of a big one. Small gestures can be huge, in when it comes to being kind. We have basic acts such as holding a door. I don't count that. I mean, that is I guess kind, but like it's not going to represent or show like that's not going to get someone to think, man, that person's really different because 90% of people is going to hold the door for you. When I'm talking about these situations, when I talk about your words or anything, I'm looking for things that will point people back towards Jesus from you, to see some things a little bit different there. When it comes to actions, we have acts of kindness that are a little bit more than just holding a door for someone. And it's simple ones. I mean, a huge one nowadays, just one that I wrote down, just being kind in general. We have stuff like, has anyone ever had someone or done it for someone, done something that you knew needed done without being asked? I mean, that's a huge one. Like, oh, I see this needs to be done, so I'm just going to do it. And the person's like, oh, wow, thank you so much. And oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we did have a random guy pay for our restaurant food. That was at Family Gardens. So we have one that's huge nowadays, in my opinion. It goes, I mean, if you're a Christian and you want to show people Jesus, this is a huge one. That's just being nice to people in general when you're out doing stuff like, such as talking to them. And I know for some people talking is hard, and I understand that. I am one of those people. Talking is not hard, obviously. But like one, I've told it before, but I'll put the story on the internet and tell the newer ones. But at one point last year, it sticks in my head. I was fishing with a guy, me and Brian. You guys all know Brian, or most of you. But there's an older guy next to us who was catching absolutely nothing. He was doing terrible. And me and Brian had been up there 2 days in a row because we was catching a lot. And you take your crappie jigs are made out of rubber and they wear out, and you just have to throw them away. And we was throwing them on the ground. And that old man's like looking at these jigs that was from the day before. He's like, whoever was here, he's like, this is the color. He's like, they were catching them. I'm like, those are mine. But I ended up talking to this guy and giving him some of my color because he didn't have any of that color, and I tried to kind of teach him the ways of how to fish down there because I've been fishing down there since I was a kid. I was pretty much raised to fish down there, and
You were bred to fish there.
pretty much. But I talked to this guy, and all I was doing is randomly talking to him and just being nice and offering him some stuff like, oh, here's this color if you want it, and just giving him tips. And he told me like 2 or 3 times, he's like, man, you were just such a nice person. I wasn't doing anything. I was just talking to him, standing there. I was catching fish. He still wasn't, but I was. But he just kept telling me, you're such a nice person. He's like, no one does this. It just stuck out to me. Like, no one just randomly talks to people or be nice or include them.
It's illegal.
Like, it's such a small act when it comes to stuff like that, that does so much. I mean, that dude, obviously, he wouldn't have said it if he didn't see something different in me. He knew there was something up there. And that can lead to awesome, it didn't that night, but it can lead to awesome opportunities where you get to talk to people about Jesus. And like I go places where I know people, like that fishing spot this spring, I went there a bunch, and there was an old man down there, not the same one, but he got to know me. He was like, oh, hey, you're back. We seen each other like 3 or 4 times in like a couple weeks, and he just talked to me every time I went down there. That leads to awesome opportunities. And Jesus did simple acts of kindness such as this that were simple for him, but miracles for us. I mean, at one point, Jesus fed people a meal. I mean, that's a simple act of kindness. Now, me and you can't feed people like Jesus did. Jesus multiplied the food. He started out with 5 loaves of bread, little loaves, personal loaves, and two fish, like muffin biscuits, something like that, and 2 fish, and ended up getting that multiplied where it fed 10,000 plus.
I just want to look in the basket and watch him take out one and then just watch it reappear.
Yeah, I would love to see it, but Like, it was a small act of kindness when it comes to feeding someone, but it resulted in a miracle through Jesus. Now, how can this situation affect you, just as a person? What do you think? If we have acts of kindness, like actions, what can that change in your life?
Make you a better person, and the person that you give the best actions will be better too.
Okay. I will tell you, off of what you did, it makes you happier. But anytime I get a random act of kindness, it makes me happier. Like if I receive one. I mean, no one here can say, "Man, I just hate when people are kind to me." But what else? Anything else? Affects your happiness levels.
I think it almost could be kind of like, well, it becomes a habit, but almost like addictive. Like you think, what can I do next? That you're feeling.
Yeah.
The more makes people happy, the more people you make happy, the more you want them to be happy.
That's for sure. Like it can grow into something where you want to do it. I would say once again, I said it, but it can add to how you affect people through Jesus, how you get to introduce them to Jesus. I have one more written down. What other point could you have kindness in, do you think? I don't know if anyone will say this one because it's kind of off the wall, but I have it written down, so we're going to talk about it. It's not that off the wall. It's just something it took me a minute to think of.
I think peace is a huge part of, like, even everyday life, and I think that's very tempting for someone to just dedicate their time to interact with you and literally everything.
Yeah, that's true. And I would put that in the, that's a big one. I would put that back in the group's actions probably, but, and that's almost the act of giving as well. Giving is another action one, but like that's giving your time, and time's the most valuable thing we got. What else do you think? I got kindness in our attitude. Is there you go. That'd work.
I've actually never
So-
I don't understand how to read body.
Oh, you really don't? Does your mom never look directly at you and watch you? They don't understand? Like,
I would think I'm retarded.
All right. So we have kindness, and it's almost sometimes kindness in an attitude rather. It can kind of almost be a gift a little bit, in my opinion. Like some people have it more than others. You probably know those people that have that attitude of kindness where you just want to be around them. Like it's like, oh, that person, I know they're going to encourage me. I know they're going to lift me up. A really good person about that, if I had to name one, would be Sandy. Sandy is really good about that. She's going to make you feel good. She is not going to tear you down. A lot of people have this attitude of tear you down and not build you up. So when you find the people that build you up, it makes you feel real good. So, like I said, we've all been around those people that seem extra kind, or at least I hope you have. If not, go find Sandy, go talk to her. But these type of people, like I said, are encouraging. They're going to cheer you up. I mean, there are some people that I go to when I am feeling down because I know they're going to help me out. And they're going to build you up. And like I said, the world is full of people that want to tear you down. Most of the time because they're either on a lower level than you already and they don't like you being like happier than them. And they're going to want to tear you down for that. Even if they wouldn't say so. I know when sometimes I get in a bad mood, I will go out of my way to make other people in a bad mood. Not very often, but every once in a while I can get in a bad mood. No. You haven't worked with my dad. Sometimes dad just wakes up in a bad mood.
exactly who that is.
Our dad's really cool, but sometimes there's certain days in the shop I'm out there working, and he comes out, and within 3 minutes I know it's gonna be a long day, and that's when you better just leave. You better just leave Dad alone. Be quiet. Mind your own business for the day. He'll be better tomorrow. Dads will stay for the day normally.
I don't stay depending on people.
Yeah.
I'm in one of those moods, it's one of the days I'm scheduled to either leave the house or have people over, and I'm like in a terrible mood while there's people around.
So you said it depends on who you're around. Once again, that puts me in the mood to go talk to the people I was talking about that's going to build you up and change that attitude. So how can this affect us in our day-to-day life if we can fix kindness in our attitude? Overall happiness. We're leading, kindness is leading back to happiness a lot, which it should. What else?
Probably be more productive.
I'm normally more productive if I'm in a good mood.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Everything I'm doing.
You're gonna be more peaceful. You're going to once again build other people up.
I was just saying, as me being a wife and a mom, you can kind of set the atmosphere in the house.
Yes. You're going to you're going to build other people up. You're going to be that person that other people think, oh, I want to go talk to them. And personally, I want to be that person when people get in a bad mood. They're like, oh, I can go talk to Grant and he's going to help me out. I would love to be that person. Sometimes I am not. But it just makes you feel good. Each one of these things we talked about so far today, all, once again, the first one, whoever said, I don't remember who said it, but on words, I think it might have been Jesse said it makes you more liked by people. Once again, the actions of kindness, the attitude of kindness, it's all going to make you more liked by people, in my opinion. And once again, if you have this attitude of kindness, someone gets in a bad, upset mood, I'll use her as I'm going to talk about her. What? Example. Thank you, Cole. That's why you're here. But I'm going to use her as an example. My friend Savvy, here a while back, we've been praying about my buddy Avery. It's his girlfriend. Whenever he went into surgery, he told me, hey, she doesn't have very many friends, and he told his friend group to kind of take care of her and make sure she got along okay, and didn't get like down and depressed. But she would come to me and ask for like advice and stuff when she'd get down, and that ended up with her coming to know Jesus. I got to talk to her about Jesus, and she ended up a week and a half ago coming to know Jesus, which is an awesome thing. But it can lead back to that as well. When someone who doesn't know Jesus gets in a bad mood and wants someone to talk to, and they know, oh, Victoria seems like a great person to talk to.
She's like, please don't talk to me.
And she can kind of direct them that way. I mean, maybe I am in a terrible mood and I just am angry at people and I don't know Jesus, and I tell Victoria, man, how do you do it? And she's like, oh, I couldn't do it without Jesus. And I'm like, who's Jesus? Who?
Drew this picture of some guy. I was like, who's that? Hubby. Yeah, Hubby. I had no idea who he was.
I got you. But now, like I said, this kindness, it opens up doors where we can talk to people and tell them about Jesus. And like Dad said, the world is currently wanting to put Jesus away, where no one can get to him or see him because they don't like him. They're going against Jesus. And we have to stand, as Christians, if you want to do your best, we're going to have to stand up for him, because kindness is going away. All these fruits of the Spirit we're going to talk about, they're all kind of going away, because, like I said, the world doesn't like Jesus. If Jesus brings them, they don't want them. It's our job to kind of stand there and show people what it's about, because if we don't do it, I mean, we're what's out here right now. You guys, what? Go ahead.
I was just saying, I would like show them the real version.
Yes,
Especially if they have their own versions of all these things, but they're not like.
that's also true.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
It's not a question, it's more of a, this is kind of, it's there, but it's not. When people, you said being kind, and then, people come to you, because they know you're kind, or
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes people, they want to be kind, but they dump the problems on them, but they don't want to, they don't actually tell them maybe go to God. They just want to, they take it, and they just try to do their best, and they kind of get it back when they don't actually steer them in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've done this myself, and then I feel bad, because then I was like, man, I could have just let them one way, and they would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Or
just-
kind of misplaced your kindness.
Do that, like we do help, like about throwing stuff, sometimes we just like visualize.
Mm-hmm. And that will happen. I mean, I would be lying if I told you every single person that comes to me gets to know Jesus. People were pushing Jesus away back when Jesus was walking around talking to them himself. Yeah, I mean, if you talk to them about it, you gave them that idea, you put it in their head, and it might be years before they think back, oh, Haley kind of told me about this situation, and my life kind of is junk right now, so maybe I'll give that a try. And that's a thing that can happen. And like I said, this all goes back to you got to stand for Jesus, because sometimes people are going to push you away when they're pushing Jesus away. And that can get pretty scary. You can get into situations where you don't want to tell them about Jesus because you're afraid it's going to push them away. And that's when you have to stand up for Jesus. You have to be willing to be there, because the Bible literally tells us Jesus is enough. He's going to get you through any situation. We have Paul, one of the best writers of the Bible. He had a problem in his life. It doesn't say what it is, but he asked Jesus to take it away 3 different times. And he never took it away. And God told him, I'm enough. This problem you have, you can handle it because I'm here with you. I will get you through it. And Paul said, okay, I will rely on you to get me through this, and you've got my back. And sometimes in life, when we're scared to lose people or get people upset at us over Jesus, you just have to understand God's got you. He is enough. If there's something to get people upset, because our kindness, hopefully we're making people less upset. But if there's one thing that I'm willing to get people upset over, it's Jesus. I mean, if they get Jesus, they will be in the best shape they have been in. I mean, Jesus changes lives. Sabby, like I said, she's been a Christian for a week and a half now, and 2 days later she texted me and she's like, people are just telling me I seem nicer now and I'm not doing anything different. She didn't know she was doing something different, but Jesus was just lifting her up so much that she was actually visible different. And now she just wants to share Jesus with other people. I mean, she went from not talking about Jesus to the other day she's like, it's kind of weird. I just kind of want to talk about Jesus. And I'm like, I understand that. But so you have people like that you changed a life for eternity. I mean, she is locked into going into heaven now. The devil does not have her, and you changed something forever. If I would have, I'm going to tell you, when she started talking about Jesus, I had a moment there where I was kind of scared. I didn't know what to say. I went ahead and pushed through and talked to her about it, and I'm glad I did. But it's not easy. It can be scary. If you don't mind, close your eyes, bow your heads, and Zephyr. Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you. So I got just a couple questions for you tonight. So first off, we talked about kindness tonight and how it can show off Jesus in our life. My first question, and I'll explain it to anyone watching on YouTube or any of you guys here. Whenever you raise your hands, I'm not looking and thinking, man, I did a good job. 4 people raised their hand tonight. All it is you doing something physical on the outside of your body telling you that, hey, I want to do this. I want to commit myself to put myself out there and do this better. I need help from God. And when I see your hand go up, I will pray for you. but I can't do nothing for you. It's all God. But my first question to you is, you want to put kindness first in your life. You know there's situations in your life where you can be kinder to people, and it could probably show Jesus a little more if you was a little kinder to them. And maybe your patience wears thin sometimes, and you just, maybe you're not the kindest with your tongue or your attitude or your actual actions, but you want to put that forward in your life, and you want to commit yourself to being that. Raise your hand for me. Keep them up for just a moment. Okay, lower them for me. All right, so you want to show people. My last question. You want to show people why you're different. You want to show them Jesus, but maybe you're scared. We had it talked about tonight that it can be tough sometimes. Sometimes you look back and you think, man, why didn't I point to Jesus there in those people's life instead of just ignoring it? And you're scared that you might lose people in your life, or people will look at you different or reject you. But you want to ignore those feelings and just push forward and show people Jesus, because if you could change, point one person to Jesus, it'd be worth it. But you want to rely on God, that He's enough in your life, and you want that for yourself. Raise your hand for me. Keep them up for just a moment. All right, thank you. All right, we're going to close in prayer. Lord, thank you for all the blessings you've given us. Just guide and direct each one of us here tonight. Bless the ones who know they can be kinder with their life, in their actions and their words, Lord, wherever they struggle. Just help them, they could put you forward in their life, that their words could be kinder in their actions, that people could know that they are that person that they can go to whenever they're feeling down, Lord. Bless the ones who raise their hand that they want to be brave and show you off, Lord, that they know you are the important thing in life, that you are enough. Lord, bless all the prayer requests we had tonight. Bless us as we head to the coffee shop here in a bit. Lord, we love you, and just guide and direct each one of us and help us out. In Jesus' name, amen. Hit the buttons, Zeph.